Welcome to Wrestling Pro News, your ultimate source for wrestling's most explosive stories. And today we are diving deep into a firestorm that has completely set the WWE Universe on fire. A storyline that has blurred the lines between scripted chaos and raw emotion, and it all centers on AJ Lee's shocking return, Seth Rollins' ruthless mockery, CM Punk's humiliation, and Becky Lynch's venomous heel run that has elevated this feud to nuclear levels. On September 5, 2025, Smackdown in Chicago didn't just deliver AJ Lee's long-awaited return, it unleashed a tidal wave of drama when Rollins took it upon himself to mock AJ backstage, taunting her legacy, ridiculing her marriage to Punk, and branding her comeback as nothing more than a joke, all while smirking in the face of chaos. This wasn't just a heel promo, it was a calculated dagger meant to slice open old wounds, drawing heat from fans and pushing AJ right back into the fire after a decade away from the ring. Let's rewind the tape because the seeds of this entire saga were planted back at Clash in Paris on August 31, 2025, when the fatal four-way main event for Rollins' World Heavyweight Championship pitted Punk, Jey Uso, and LA Knight against the Vision's architect himself. Paris was electric with over 30,000 fans packed into La Défense Arena, and Punk had Rollins dead to rights with a GTS until chaos struck. Becky Lynch, hidden beneath a balaclava, delivered a vicious low blow that shattered Punk's chance and handed Rollins the win, cementing her allegiance to the Vision. That moment wasn't just about a championship, it was about betrayal, power, and setting the tone for WWE's new era. And when the Paris crowd erupted into chants of AJ Lee, with signs begging for her return, you could feel the shift. Backstage panels teased it, social media fanned the flames, and whispers turned into roars that AJ might finally come back to stand beside Punk against Rollins and Lynch. Raw in Paris on September 1st only poured gasoline on this inferno, as Punk opened the show demanding Rollins face him, only to be interrupted by Becky Lynch, the newly crowned Women's Intercontinental Champion, who snapped at the crowd's AJ chants with a bitter confession that she had always resented AJ for overshadowing her early career. That confrontation escalated when Lynch slapped Punk repeatedly, mocking him as a has-been, while Punk fired back calling Rollins a coward who hides behind his wife and the Vision. When Raw GM Adam Pearce later revealed that Smackdown was in Chicago, Punk's hometown, the grin on Punk's face was all fans needed to fuel AJ return rumors. Reports swirled that a mixed tag match was in the works for WrestlePalooza, Punk and AJ versus Rollins and Lynch. By the time Smackdown rolled into the Allstate Arena in Chicago on September 5th, the anticipation was through the roof, and when Punk warned Becky that she had his attention, Rollins and Lynch appeared, dripping arrogance. But the arena exploded when AJ Lee's remixed "Let's Light It Up" theme hit, and the former Divas champion stormed out to a deafening ovation, declaring to Becky, "You touch my husband, I'm back to end you." That alone would have been enough to make headlines, but Rollins wasn't finished. Backstage, he doubled down with venom, sneering that AJ was nothing but a relic clinging to Punk's coattails, a washed-up sidekick, mocking her as irrelevant in today's WWE. It was pure heat, and it set AJ ablaze with fury, storming into the frame to promise that at WrestlePalooza she and Punk would make both Rollins and Lynch pay in blood, sweat, and broken pride. This feud is no longer about championships alone. It's personal, it's about legacy, it's about respect, and it's about tearing down the Vision's arrogant stranglehold on WWE. AJ's return isn't just nostalgia, it's a tectonic shift in the women's division, as reports suggest she could even challenge Becky for the Intercontinental title down the line, extending this feud far beyond one mixed tag match. Rollins' mockery and Lynch's venom have painted bullseyes on their backs, while Punk and AJ now stand as a united front ready to spark a war that could change the landscape of WWE in 2025. Fans are already buzzing about possible War Games scenarios, Survivor Series clashes, and the poetic justice of AJ returning in her and Punk's hometown to dismantle the very faction that tried to erase their legacy. This is wrestling at its finest, personal, emotional, and unpredictable. Wrestling fans, drop your predictions in the comments. Do you think AJ Lee will stay for a full run? Will she dethrone Becky Lynch? And will Punk finally get revenge on Rollins after Paris? Smash that like button, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and stay locked in with Wrestling Pro News because this feud is only getting hotter, and WrestlePalooza promises to be an all-out war. Welcome to Wrestling Pro News, the place where every shocking twist, every betrayal, every return, and every moment that makes the WWE Universe stop and stare gets broken down, dissected, and told in a way that pulls you right into the heart of the storm. And today we are diving into a saga that has become one of the most explosive storylines of 2025, a story that mixes legacy, betrayal, return, and the kind of personal venom that transforms scripted chaos into something that feels dangerously Real, because on September 5, 2025, inside the electric atmosphere of Chicago's Allstate Arena, AJ Lee made her thunderous return to WWE after more than a decade away, yet instead of a simple homecoming it became a night of poison-laced words and boiling tension as Seth Rollins mocked AJ backstage, ridiculing her career, her marriage to CM Punk, and her very relevance in the business. And this cruel act amplified the feud to heights that WWE hasn't seen in years. To understand just how monumental this moment is, you have to trace the roots back to Clash in Paris on August 31, 2025, where Seth Rollins defended his World Heavyweight Championship in a fatal four-way match against CM Punk, Jey Uso, and LA Knight, and in front of over 30,000 fans at La Defense Arena, Punk had Rollins on the brink of defeat when Becky Lynch, disguised in a balaclava, stormed in to deliver a devastating low blow that handed Rollins the victory and left Punk humiliated. The Paris crowd erupted into AJ Lee chants, with signs begging WWE to bring her back, and those chants became the soundtrack to Punk's heartbreak and frustration as Becky's interference wasn't just about helping her husband, it was about cementing her allegiance to the Vision, the new power faction of Rollins, Lynch, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and Paul Heyman. Backstage whispers turned into social media storms, and insiders began hinting that AJ's name was back in circulation, her return teased like a spark waiting to ignite an inferno. When Monday Night Raw rolled into Paris the very next night on September 1st, Punk demanded Rollins face him man-to-man, but instead Becky Lynch appeared, dripping arrogance as the newly crowned Women's Intercontinental Champion, and when the crowd filled the arena with AJ chants, Becky snapped, spitting venom about how AJ had overshadowed her early NXT career. A confession of jealousy that cut deep and gave fans a window into the bitterness driving her actions. Punk retaliated by branding Rollins a coward hiding behind his wife and the Vision, declaring that Becky married a bum, and Becky responded with multiple slaps across Punk's face, taunting him as a has-been, while Punk, refusing to hit back, simply promised that she would